You put out your top 50 draft prospects as well as another mock draft. But let's start with your top.
Top 50 is getting updated this weekend. So that's just the original. There's some changes coming.
All right. But
yeah,
I can only
I want you to get excited, Rich. I want you to have something to look forward to.
No, I can only work with what I've got. You know what I mean? Like, this is all I've got right now. So you've got Fernando Mendoza 1, and Jeremiyah Love is your second best prospect at the running back spot. So this is obviously a very talented kid. Like, what's your comp? Is Bijan a comp? Is that fair? What do you got?
Well, first of all, I want to see you get in Rich Eisen combine shape, and to not play on words with Jeremiyah Love as my second player, it's a little disappointing. But I feel like you'll be there. You'll be there by the time we hit the.
Well, I mean, a defender one-on-one on him would be on Love Island. Daniel, I mean,
very nice.
Nice. What else you need? What else can I do right now? That's just for starters. That's just for starters. That's just for starters.
Getting you some reps, dude. He's so fun to watch. Like, my favorite thing about Jeremiyah Love is, we use terms in scouting, like you're elusive, you've got make, miss, and space. And for most players, when you're going to make somebody miss, you have to gather. You have to kind of come to balance. You'll stop. You think about if you're watching a basketball game, you kind of come to balance, and then you might cross somebody over. He makes guys miss on the dead run. Like, he does not break down. You'll see him in the pit game. He's running full speed, and you'll see him spin in the open field. And it's like he was just like running a 40 and just kind of mixes in a spin, makes you miss, and he's gone. And you've got the ability to run all the routes out of the backfield. You can line him up in the formation, let him run wide receiver routes. You'll see one-handed catches. Like, he's a really dynamic athlete. So he would be in that playmaker category where you're talking about running backs going up there in the top 10. You like to say he's more than just a runner. Some of the, think about the McCaffreys and the Bijans and all the different things, Saquon. These guys that can do all these different things. He's a different build, maybe a little more narrow, maybe looks physically a little different, but someone that can impact the game big time, both as a runner and a receiver.
Okay, and then you look at, the top 50 draft prospects in the top 10. I see 4 Buckeyes, which is amazing for a team that couldn't even win their conference or even a college football playoff game with so much talent. But that's neither here nor there. Why do you have Reese 3 and David Bailey 4? And then if we look at your first few picks of your mock draft, you've got the Jets having an opportunity to take either Reese or Bailey, and they take Bailey, and Reese drops all the way down to 7. How do we square this circle, Daniel?
Well, a couple things. Number one, as I mentioned, we'll have an update on the top 50 coming up.
Okay.
So there'll be a little shuffle there.
All right.
But this is the debate and the conversation that teams are going to have, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunity to have it with ourselves, it's the age-old discussion of production versus potential. So you've got a player in Reese who plays off the ball. He plays on the ball. They kind of move him around. I like him best as an edge rusher. I think that's where he's got a chance to really thrive going forward. But there's not as much proof of concept as a rusher. He's got some production there. But you're watching Bailey, you're seeing a polished pass rusher with elite get off, who knows how to win, who has a college career full of production going back to Stanford, and was really a dominant rusher this year. He just further advanced as a pass rusher. So he gives you the production. He's also, I think, will test extremely well. Both these guys are going to test well. They're both freak athletes. But when you're sitting there and you're the Jets, and you look, we don't need to take any chances. Like, let's just get a sure thing here. It feels to me like Bailey's a little safer in that. And then you also have Ruben Bain, who's factored into this whole thing as well, who's
he's awesome. He awesome.
I just wrote down, like, he is a junkyard dog. Like, he is just an absolute warrior, who not only, wins reps, he just beats people up. So if you're looking for an identity as a physical identity, I think I had him going to the Titans.
Yes, you did.
For a team with Robert Saleh, all of a sudden now you look up and you've got Jeffrey Simmons and you also have Ruben Bain on that same front. You all of a sudden now you're a little bit of a bully up front with how you play. So those 3 guys, I think you're going to see teams with all different orders: Bailey, Bain, and Reese. 3 totally different flavors, but 3 great football players.
And you got Tate at the top of a very talented wide receiver group, and worthy of that. He's awesome. And I know Jeremiah Smith gets a lot of the pub, and for good reason. this kid's awesome, and you think the Giants at 5 add him for Dart. Neighbors comes back, Scatterboo stops, bashing his head against a brick wall, and he's ready to roll, right? Like, although Caleb Downs has got to be a tempting choice at 5 as well for the Giants. Certainly when, John Harbaugh enjoyed having Kyle Hamilton at the back of that defense, right, for all those years before leaving for the Giants. What do you think about the Giants' choice there, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, they've got some needs, so they can go in different areas.
Right.
But I had to look at it with these organizations with a fresh start with a new coach, and you have a quarterback here in year number 2. To me, if you're going to have to sacrifice something, I'd rather sacrifice and maybe wait a little longer on the defensive side of the ball and give Jackson Dart some help. I mean, after Neighbors got hurt last year, it was not a whole lot for him to work with. And he actually played pretty well. I want to arm him with some weapons. I want to see Jackson Dart take a big leap next year. This team has a chance to, potentially make a pretty quick turnaround because the defensive line's in great shape. But if a year from now they don't make the playoffs, but we're talking about Jackson Dart, establishing himself as the guy there, I think you'd feel a lot better than if we're sitting there saying, hey, they had a top 5 defense, but we don't know what we have in Jackson Dart. It feels to me like this would be, a little more heavy on the offensive side of the ball. Let's get that kid up and running.
Okay. And Jeremiyah Love being it's so highly touted, not just by you, right? Sitting there at 9, the Chiefs just can sit there and just wait for him to drop, or, you could see the Commanders sitting there at 7, Saints at 8. Would this be the inflection point for the draft for trades, do you think? Just to hop up and take this kid or not? Like, where do you see the inflection points here?
Yeah, it's interesting to me. It's always usually after there's a drop off at the position. So we need to find out where the separation points are. Right now, I have a little bit of separation with the top 2 tackles in that next group, but I think that could end up squeezing down a little bit closer. He is the one true running back that's got a lock first round grade across the league. There's his teammate now is a good player who's got some support in that early second round. Maybe he sneaks into the bottom of the first round, but I don't really see as great. And I love him. No pun intended. I don't know if we're going to see teams parting with picks to get Jeremiyah Love. That's where the running back thing might come into play. But in terms of the inflection points, we don't really know what's going to happen with the second quarterback. That's usually a spot where you could see it. I don't get the sense that there's going to be a trade up market there for wherever Ty Simpson, if Ty Simpson were to land somewhere in the first round. So I think that's TBD, Rich. We're looking for a divider of where the separation is. The problem is we've got, only one quarterback right now that's, for sure a lock first round pick. Quarterbacks are normally a trade, market. Edge rushers, we've got those big 3, which are great, but then there's another whole wave of them. It's one of the deepest positions in the draft. And that's the other position where you typically see a lot of movement. So, we'll have to see if something emerges, but I don't have one off the top of my head looking at it right now.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.